Shubprabhat. A very good morning to all of you. Thank you for making me as a part of your daily routine, and thank you for supporting me, and welcome to all who are with me and who are going to be with me. So, my dear friends, we are here with the next part or next segment of Life of Masters. In this series, we are reading the life of Shri Ramkrishna Paramhansha Dev with a segment, and this segment has been named as Kalpataru. Till now, we came to know the conspiracy, divine conspiracy about his birth. We came to know his childhood. We came to know about his boyhood, and now we are here to know the transition period between the boyhood and the youth. So let's start. On the threshold of youth, these changes in the Chatterjee family left an indelible impression on the emotional mind of Gadadhar. The death of his brother's wife, the unkindness of fortune, the diminishing income, all this strengthened his conviction as to the fleeting nature of worldly enjoyments. Even at that tender age, he was disgusted with the world. His dislike for academic education increased. He found that men ran after worldly knowledge because it would help them to earn money or to gain prestige, the transitory nature of which was but too evident to him. He resolved to pass a life of meditation, prayer, and worship. And though he still performed the routine work of the day, the chief item of which was helping his aged mother in her household duties, he spent a great portion of his time in worshipping Raghuveer or in reading passages from the holy books. We have already said that the neighboring women were greatly attracted by Gadadhar's amiable character. After the departure of Ramkumar for Calcutta, the boy, owing to the nature of the duties he took upon himself, had to spend much time indoors, which afforded them greater opportunities of enjoying his company. They thronged they thronged Chandra's house after the day's work and grouped themselves about the boy, hoping to hear him sing or recite some holy text. So persistent were they that presently those things became part of his daily duty. In those days, many Vaishnavas and Bauls. Who are the Bauls? Bauls, we can assign them as a sect of Vaishnavas who usually sing in a very romantic way. Whenever they have as an instrument, as a singing instrument, iktara, and whenever they transit from one spot to another, they usually sing. So let's resume the story. In those days, many Vaishnavas and Bauls lived at Kamarpukur. Gadadhar learned their devotional songs by heart and would entertain his mother's visitors by singing them, as well as enacting some of the village dramas, he himself taking the different parts. He had a wonderful knack of imitating voices, especially women's, good and was a good mimic as well. When he found his mother or any of her friends in low spirits, he would cheer them up by his impersonations. There would be no trace of melancholy in the presence of this sprightly, ingenious boy. The companionship soon deepened into intimacy. The ladies knew of the extraordinary circumstances attending the birth of Gadadhar and were aware of his great spiritual fervor and unflicking devotion. His simplicity, uprightness, pity, and undoubted and unbounded faith in their gods charmed their heart. Aged women like Prasanna Mai regarded him as the boy Gopala. Younger ones thought he was endowed with some of the characteristics of Sri Krishna. His great naturalness and perfect adaptability made them forget his sex, and they had no hesitation in confiding their secrets to him. His nature at this time became amazingly feminine, doubtless due to his study of the folk dramas and lyrics of the Vaishnavas, which deal mostly with the life of Sri Krishna and his relations with the cowherd boys and the milkmaids of Vrindavan. The pathos underlying the attraction felt by the gopis for their beloved cowherd friend, and the intensity of that love which at it were consumed them bit by bit, the pangs of separation, the supreme felicity at the reunion, and lastly the great idealism at the back of these episodes made a lasting impression upon the mind of Gadadhar. Often in his yearning for God, he would transmute himself, so to speak, into a milkmaid of Vrindavan, forgetting his real self. The pious young women of the village, who were mostly devotees of Vishnu, reminded him of the gopis of Vrindavan, and therefore he sought their company. He knew that the gopis were able to realize Krishna as their husband and feel the bliss of his eternal reunion because they were women. He, in his eagerness for the same goal, would regret that he was born a man and was inclined to think that his masculine form was a great barrier separating him from his beloved. If he were to be born again, he would like to be a child widow in a pious Brahmin family who would only think of Krishna as her husband. With barely enough to maintain herself, she would have a milch cow, a spinning wheel, and a plot of land about her heart to grow vegetables. An old woman would act as her guardian. She would prepare various sweets from the milk of her cow and preserve them for her beloved. After finishing the day's work, she would sit by the wheel and, while spinning, give vent to her feelings in a rapturous song. Then, in the mellowed light of the evening, Sri Krishna would enter the heart stealthily as the cowherd boy and take those sweets. Thus would his fancy wander. This ideal of Gadadhar was not literally fulfilled, but he realized Sri Krishna in this very life in the form he wished, as we shall see afterwards. While enacting female parts, he would dress himself accordingly, and his representation was perfect. Often out of fun, he would go in the guise of a girl to Haldar Pukur, carrying a water jug after the fashion of the country woman, and though he walked with people who had known him since birth, they scarcely recognized him. Sitanath Pine, whose house was close to Khudiram's, had 7 sons and 8 daughters with him at Kamarpukur even after their marriage. This family lived in terms of great intimacy with Chandra. Gadadhar spent long hours there reciting stories from the Puranas. Many of the village women visiting with the ladies of the house had the opportunity of hearing these recitations and of enjoying Gadadhar's boyish pranks. So, dear listeners, today we are going to stop reading here till this portion. So, we will come back again on Friday with this segment, Life of Masters, and we will explore what had happened or what other sorts of incidents took place in the life of Shri Ramakrishna Paramhansha Dev. And I must apologize for too many mispronunciation or ill pronunciation, I must say. So I'm trying. Please be with me. With time, I presume that it will improve a little bit. So till then, so we will meet you again in the segment of um, in the Sunday segment for all those English all those audience who are here who can understand the English. For them, Shamoita Rupkathara, in this channel we have 4 days 4 day episodes, or segments, that is one in the Friday, and the other 3 days are Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, where we read in a series where we are reading the folk tales of Bengal in English. So, for all my English listeners, thank you for being with me, and thank you for just listening. And I can make a request to you only that please be with me, and if you are liking my effort, then subscribe my channel, and keep sharing and keep liking uh, my efforts. So I will take a leave with your permission for today. Tada!